Today, we're talking about gray areas. That is everything that will probably get me kicked off of here and everything that nobody wants to talk about. That is all of the political issues that we are going through, all of the moral issues, all of the church issues, all of the crazy transitions, those things that make you not want to get out of bed in the morning, not want to listen to a pastor, not want to talk to other human beings, and just in general curl up and go, why? Let's dive right in. Welcome back, everybody. My name's AP Raleigh, author of Abide, and I make Christian content to help both you and me grow in our walk with Christ together. Now, gray area issues are what I like to refer to as anything that feels like it's in the gray area. Like society is having this huge fight, or the church is having this huge fight, or basically just things we can't agree on in general. There are calmer ones, I guess you could say societally, the Calvinism and Arminianism debate that ended up having all kinds of strife with church. There's tons of stuff around the book of Revelation, but there's also tons of societal issues. We got quite a few of those going on right now. We've had several in the past. They led to things like the Crusades, and there's all kinds of issues that have gone on time and time again. I know that LGBTQ plus stuff in the past has been something that people have fought constantly on. Right now there's the whole Roe v. Wade thing going on that people are fighting about, and these are topics that people either seem to have one side, which is I'm right, you're wrong, and I don't want to hear anything else. Another side of I'm not really sure who's right and who's wrong. I don't want to fight. These issues just really go into anything that we're terrified to touch. And then when we do, it has to be such an aggressive, intense push through that there's no room for anything but me. I don't love that. And so I've got a way of going through these, and I wanted to do this. I'm still doing this on the vacation trip. I think that's the best way to do, because I also don't want to come out on this side where I'm telling you what to do, that I'm right, that I'm the only way. And there's ways of studying the Bible that can make these things so much easier, but there's a really basic, simple, and that's what I want to get back to, because these are the things that we try to dig these huge long rabbit holes and go down into, because no, it says this and in the Greek, but if you go back and look at, you can go through that. If that's something that you need, do it. But I want to give us just the basic, high level, how to act. It's easy. So this comes out of something Jesus said, which was really simple, and I've talked about it almost every video I've ever done, because it's also my caveat verse to figure out if things are right or wrong. So you can go ahead and take whatever we're doing, whatever action, whatever's going on, and interpret it through love the Lord your God with everything that you have, love your neighbor as yourself. And so in that, you have to love God. You gotta love your neighbor. You gotta love yourself. And if it's not doing those three things, then it's probably not right. And that doesn't mean that there needs to be whole laws around it. That doesn't mean everything needs to be changed in accordance. That doesn't mean, it means that you need to think about it. It means maybe there's another way. It means we're missing something. And that is the big push that I think that we need to have. In my opinion, it would take care of so many problems in the church, in people's lives in general. I think I can go back to every one of these spots where the church has had a huge mess up and we've kind of, oops, sorry. And years later, that's destroyed people's lives. And it turns out that the issue that was going on, it's not that people were going to hell because of abortions. No, people were going there because they refused to have a relationship with Christ because of Christians. And to think that that's happened is so sad, because I know I've been on the wrong side of this, and I know I've been on the right side of this, and those are the two spots you can be, and I very much would like to be on the right side of this. So when we're going through and considering, hey, is this right, wrong, or indifferent, figuring out that question can be difficult, and that can be time consuming. We can go all the way back. That is your little Greek excitement, and we can go there. But what I'm far more concerned about is, okay, so the Bible says something here. What are you doing about it? And is what you're doing about it bringing people closer to God or not? And I'm not going to condemn you, and I certainly hope we don't condemn them, because judgment is God's job, not mine. But when Jesus said that, he said all of the law and the prophets depend on this, all of it, everything. And the law and the prophets are designed to bring you into relationship with God. They're designed to protect you, designed to help you. So if what we're doing isn't that, then I'm really concerned. And this is a problem. I have to check myself all the time, because a lot of times I screw this up and I mess it up and I can't figure out what I'm supposed to be doing. But if I step back and go, man, am I hurting people right now? Am I starting fights? Am I pushing away from God? Because it's up to him to help. And a lot of these things, we've made arguments on things that you can't just change. They're not just like, oh yeah, I can make a different decision tomorrow and it's better. They're things that are pushed through neuroplasticity that may take years to get through, that are not just, oh yeah, we're good now. And Jesus can walk in and say, go and sin no more. But I think when you've had an encounter with Jesus, it's a little different, because you've got the source right there. You know what's good. You know what's right and wrong. But something really got me lately, and it's still getting me, is the fact that, and I talked about it here, you check it out up above if you get excited. There's a video on gentleness, and that got me, the fact that Jesus comes in to communities of people who both know what they're supposed to be doing and agreed to do it. Those two things were happening, and then they were intentionally breaking rules. And those people he got really aggressive with. Those were the people that he could stand up and soapbox and this ain't right and this is what's happening. And then all of a sudden he goes over to the Samaritan woman. All of a sudden, and I look through, there's more and more and more of these where they're doing stuff that's so much worse. And he comes around and just loves them, explains what's going on, shows them himself, shows them mercy, shows them kindness. And I know I already talked on that, but it needs to be hit on again, because gray area issues are the ones where we want to be in control. And because we want to be in control, we hit these with a level of aggression that's unacceptable. That we try to convince people or make rules to force them to love God, to force them to do the right thing. And I'm sorry, if you don't want to do the right thing, you're not going to do the right thing. And the way that I convince you to do otherwise is not punishment, it's love. I mean, they've done so many studies on this recently, even, where they find that positive reinforcement is way more effective than negative reinforcement. So how can we have positive reinforcement in our culture and our society to make sure that people are pursuing good things that will grow them in life? Because that's awesome. How do we become more inclusive and more loving as both a church and a culture without having to change? You don't have to change your boundaries. And this is a beautiful thing that I am going to just tangent off on, because this is missed. Did you know that you can love and respect people who disagree with you? I know that sounds really obvious. I am not talking down to you. I'm not talking to anyone. I have to remind myself of that regularly, that guess what? You can hate me as a human being. You can do everything in your life to destroy me. And I usually respond very poorly to that. I'll be honest. I'm trying to figure out what it means to love people without breaking my boundaries, without allowing myself to be demeaned or hurt or any of that. How do I continue to love and respect you, but also put boundaries in place and continue to stand up for what I believe in? Because I don't have to agree with you to treat you as a human being. When I don't do that to people who don't treat me as a human being, what am I doing? I'm just setting a poor example, but I see that Jesus was capable of this. And so I am going through the Gospels again and again. I'm still doing that because I want to know how someone can be brutally attacked and crucified and go through all of this terrible stuff and then say things like, forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. How do you manage that, man? Like, how do you, he didn't break any of his values. He just kind of takes what they're going to give and continues to be 100% holistically on fire for God without trashing people, without destroying them, without doing all, just like God doesn't feel the need to lightning bolt me when I'm an idiot, I don't need to lightning bolt anyone else. Even though I don't have lightning bolts, I've got some pretty mean words. And so when we're looking at these gray area issues, and come back around, it's a really simple thing. It's okay whatever side you want to be on, whatever you need to figure out, but I just want to make sure, are you loving God with everything that you have? Are you loving your neighbor? Are you loving yourself? And how can you, especially This is the big highlight that I found, is when I'm outside of that, when I miss that, and I have, and when I do, how am I then turning around and finding ways to actively love that community? How am I finding ways to actively show them that I care and that I respect them and that they're people and that I want to see them succeed in life? I want to see them have a relationship with God, and it's not my job to tell them what to do. That's God's, and whether or not they want to listen is up to them. That's not up to me, but my job is to show them beyond a shadow of a doubt that I care. So, as I am trying to figure out how to do that, I hope that you'll join, and I hope you'll do it with me.